This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by AnarchyInYourHead.com, the Free Staters' first political cartoon, cranking out thought-provoking images from New Hampshire every Friday. Log on for entertainment. Load up on t-shirts. AnarchyInYourHead.com. I would say at least 6 of the 14 people here today so far are pretty new. You've seen him on the scene in New Hampshire, sending a message to criminals by picking up litter while open carrying a firearm. But Ryan McGuire of Nashua says he's had the opportunity this week to send a more direct message. Here's his report on nhfree.com. Quote, I had just gotten home from work, and not 10 minutes transpired before I heard a loud crash and some rustling outside. As I rushed out the door, I saw someone had broken the window of my truck and was diving inside to grab my video camera. Before I knew it, I was several blocks away from my house, running full speed, 10 feet behind the guy, who was also running like hell. I kept chasing him, never quite closing the gap between him and myself until I ran out of energy. He turned the corner and I followed a bit more slowly. Knowing he was hiding, I looked closely in the darkness for him and finally saw the guy dash from his hiding spot and continue running away. I said a few more unkind words in his direction as he fled, but there was nothing more for me to do. Out of breath, dejected, and quite frustrated, I walked back home. Unquote. Ryan says his landlord had already called the cops by that time. I guess it must have been Nashua PD. He says they showed up within 10 minutes. And he has some praise for the Nashua cops. He says after they talked to him, his wife spotted them going out and doing some detective work trying to figure out what happened. They apparently went to a nearby convenience store to try and get some more information. I'd like to make clear here, though, that Ryan did not call the police himself. His family, neither did his family. Ironically, Ryan had placed the camera on his dashboard, on some kind of a dashboard mount, because he intended to record police if they pulled him over. This probably made the camera an easy target. However, if I understand correctly, it was not an expensive camera. Ryan says total damages came to a little under $400. Despite him being dejected about this, I look at it as a partial victory. At least he was able to stop the burglary from continuing on indefinitely, and probably put a good scare into whoever committed the burglary. I doubt that guy will be burglaring the same location anytime soon. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, Ryan is a Free Stater. Free Staters are people who move to New Hampshire for more liberty.
States don't have rights, but what do they claim are their rights when it comes to people getting married?
Traditionally, Free Staters have had an uneven relationship with police because of their opposition to police enforcement of victimless crime laws. But events like this are a reminder that police and libertarians are often on the same side. Ryan makes no mention in his blog as to whether he was actually carrying a firearm at the time. I obviously didn't have one in his hand, but he's making no mention as to whether he had one pocketed or holstered or whatnot. He says he doesn't believe a firearm would have done a great deal of good in a circumstance like this. Obviously, if he had one, he exercised great restraint in not pulling it out and not shooting at the guy. By the way, this event appears to have occurred around the 1st of December 2008. Today is the 5th of December 2008. Anyhow, it's good to be able to report something good about the police. I like to do that whenever I can in New Hampshire, and just hearing that Nashua PD did really follow up on this attempted break-in, that's probably good news. In the past, Nashua PD, I have to say, has actually been a little overzealous in investigating, robberies and burglaries. There was a case a couple years ago where they jailed a Nashua man for videotaping, video and audio taping their investigation of a robbery. Ryan says, quote, although I'm almost sure that these same men, the police, have violated the rights of peaceful individuals before, and will most likely continue to do so in their roles as agents of the state, I'm glad that they take their job seriously enough to want to protect the peace when they can, unquote. So glad Ryan is safe and that he's been able to send a little bit of a message to the criminals. Unfortunate that it cost him $400. This is Dave Ridley signing off for RidleyReport.com. This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by Anarchy in Your Head.